So, in in August, in August, I had a day where I went pee and it looked like cranberry juice. And I was like, you didn't go that far back, Fav, but that's where I'm going to start it from. So in August, I had a day where I woke up and I pissed and it looked like cranberry juice. And I was like, probably that's bad. And so my way of thinking is I don't have health insurance, and I'm very much in the American sense of things where I'm like, I have to be dying. I went pee and it was scary looking, like it was red. And I guess like if you have a little bit of blood in your pee, it makes it look worse than it is, because it only takes a little bit to make it wild. It's awful here. I don't go to the doc either, just Planned Parenthood. Yeah. So like I would go to Planned Parenthood for like a UTI or something, but I had some pain before that and I think this was like, I think the timeline is there was a recording that I was in that I suddenly had a really bad pain, and it starts in your back area, and it's crippling. I was here playing Minecraft, and then it starts here where your kidneys are. My kidney, yeah. Which I didn't know when I first had it. I was like, I've had them in both sides, and I thought, the first time I had it, I thought my appendix was bursting. I was doing Minecraft Pictionary, and like all of a sudden I got the fucking worst pain, which I knew what it was because I've had, I don't know where my appendix is. I was like, something's fucked. Something is bad. Yeah, that was the Gartic phone recording I had to dip where Nilesy said I shit myself or something like that. But basically what happened was I got a kidney stone pain, which I know that it was that because about 5 or 7 years ago, I went to the ER because I thought my fucking appendix burst, because the pain from a kidney stone it's unlike anything you will ever have to go through, to the point where I was in the emergency room and they put me on an IV. This was 7 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. And I was like so out of it. I was like, here's a gross part. I would vom from the pain, and then I was dating someone at the time, and they would have to empty my vom into the sink, and then I couldn't get up to pee because I was on an IV, and so I'd have to piss into the vom bag, and then they'd have to dump that out. And basically, I was just fucking taking turns putting my bodily liquids into this bag, and like, it was fucking awful. And then it got to the point where the pain was so bad while I was in the hospital in the ER last time that I was like, if I die right now, I would feel better. Like, I was actually kind of like, the pain was so bad, I was like, I hope I die. Like, if I die, it's better than what I'm doing right now. Like, I almost was going to be like in my head, I was so fucking out of it, and I was thinking, I should just ask them to put me to sleep. Like, not like knock me out, but like take me out. That's how fucking bad it is. It's so bad. Like, I was like, just fucking kill. I think I even said it to them. I think I was like, just kill me. I said either kill me or take whatever is inside of me that's hurting and take it out of me, because this is fucking horrible. It was so bad. Like, the pain is unlike nothing else. I was ready for the Rainbow Bridge at that point, and this was 5 or 7 years ago, so I knew what the pain was. So when I did the Minecraft Pictionary, any warning before the pain? No, there was nothing. When I had it 5 or 7 years ago, there was no warning. It was just, I went to go to bed and it was 11 p.m. and I was like, damn, my side hurts really fucking bad. And I think it was this side that hurt last time. And so I went into the bathroom and I ran a bath, and I was gonna get in the bath, but I was in so much pain. The pain, like, you feel it everywhere. Like, it's just hot. Your entire body goes hot. And it's just a fucking severe, sudden pain. To where, like, you know how when you have a fever, you feel it, you can almost feel it, like, start from the top of your head and go down? That's what it felt like, and it was just hot. And then I was in so much pain that I was just at the toilet, like, throwing up, because the pain was so blinding that it made me nauseous. And during that time, I was like a week off of getting health insurance when I was working at Planned Parenthood, because you have to work for like 90 days before you qualify for it. And so I was a week away from having health insurance. And I knew that if I went to the emergency room, the last time I went to the emergency room, it cost almost $2,000, and I was there for like an hour. And I realized later that that time that I went, like years before when I was in uni, was also kidney stones. And the guy goes, "Do you have your period?" And I was like, "No, literally this fucking is horrible." And he goes, "Well, here's some pain meds and you can go home." So I knew it was going to be expensive. So it was 11 p.m. at night, and I was like, it got to the point where it was about 1 a.m. and the pain wasn't going away, and I went, fuck, I'm gonna have to go to the doctor. And so here in America, Fuzzy says, I had literal brain surgery and it didn't seem as bad as this sounds. Happier on the mend now. That sounds shit. Thanks, Fuzzy. It fucking sucks, dude. Fav says it's like being stabbed nonstop from the inside while throwing up, having a fever, being cold, and trying not to pass out at the same time. Fucking literally. Like, that's it. Because what happens is, a kidney stone is like, typically, I guess, like a buildup of calcium or something from not drinking enough water, being dehydrated, drinking too much soda or black tea. Like, there's a list of things that you should avoid. And it turns into what is essentially like a little nerd's candy is what it looks like. Or I saw another one on Amazon for a fucking review for this medication that they sell on there that looked like a Final Fantasy fucking crystal shard, and theirs was like this fucking big. Yes, black tea. My doctor was like, avoid black tea. It's not a stone, it's a caltrop. Yeah, so it's like basically what it is it will form inside your kidneys, and then it kind of just depends or not if it's gonna go down like if it gets flushed. Because it will circle the drain like a little rubber duck in the bathtub, and it just depends, right? So then what happens is, depending on how big it is, and the first one I had that I was in the hospital for the last time was 3 millimeters. The one that I was in the hospital for on Tuesday was 6 millimeters. And what happens is, it's not smooth, it's like spiky. And so what happens is, it goes through your ureter, from your kidney through your ureter into your bladder, and then out your urethra, and you piss it out. And what happens is, in the ureter, it will like snag on the sides of your inside of your fucking tube, and that's what causes the pain. Like, it's like scraping on your insides. I'm guessing it rips the interior walls open like a 100-pronged knife. It depends. So when I had my 3 millimeter one, I ended up I passed that one myself. Get a little blue ribbon for that one. And they give you like a little like filter to piss through so that you can catch the stone and then take it to the doctor, and then they like send it to a lab and figure out why it's doing that. Did they use ultrasound? When I went, both times I did a CAT scan. Last time, 5 years ago, I did a CAT scan where they put iodine into the IV that makes it feel like you're pissing yourself, and it sucks. And that does something different than when they just did the CAT scan last time without the iodine. I don't remember what the difference is called. Someone in chat will probably know. They do like... They can do where they do an ultrasound where they shoot sound waves at the rocks and break them up, but they only try to do that for the bigger ones. Did you try the thing where they try to break it up from the outside? That hurts so bad. No, I haven't seen that one. But like, so the last one I passed, and it looked like a little fucking gray nerd's candy that was like bumpy and then sharp on some edges, as in like poking out. They use lasers too? Yeah. So that was last time. And last time I was like, it was 3 millimeters, and I was like, can you just kill me? Like, I will sign the paper. I'm okay with it. I don't want to be on this earth anymore. So last time I ended up going home, and I think it was a week later when it finally came out. So this time we were doing how do they grow? It's from your diet. Like, if you look it up, you can see. Basically, fucking drink water. Don't even drink anything else. Maybe lemons and lemonade. That's it. That's all you're allowed. So this time in August, we were doing Minecraft Pictionary, and I had a moment where I was here, la 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 la, playing Minecraft, and then the fucking sudden pain, it takes your breath away, and like, I was just like, I had to stand up, because here's the other thing when it's happening. The pain is so bad, you're going from position to position to try to relieve it. So you're like in fetal position, you're stretched out, you're like crunched up to the side, all kinds of stuff. So the pain was really sudden all of a sudden, and it was like right when I finished my last Minecraft build thing, the dog sniffing the other dog's ass or something like that. And so I stopped speaking, I put my head down on my desk, and I stood up so that I was like an L shape with my legs and then my head on the desk. And I was just waiting there, and like I had my arm like this, just waiting for it to stop. And like I was like, at a moment before we were gonna go look at everybody's builds, I was like, Ben, I have to go. Like, I'm in severe pain right now. I'm so sorry. So I ended up leaving. Kidney stones and tooth pains are the worst pains. Yup. And he's been shot before. Yeah. I'm gonna try to not, like... This will be the most I've spoken in the last week, too, so... So that happened in then I think after that was in August when I had my cranberry piss, where it looked like cranberry juice. And I was like... That time I was like, okay, let me go to urgent care and let them know. And so I went to urgent care, which in America you have urgent care, which is less expensive than the emergency room. And it's like it's like going to the doctor real quick. So you just go to urgent care, and they can do things like give you medication for a sore throat, like give you flu medication, all of those things. Or like UTIs and things like that. I'm a paramedic, and kidney stones, I will dish out pain meds. It's the most uncomfortable looking pain I've ever seen. It's so fucking bad. Like out of hours. Yeah, so urgent care that I went to, there was like no line for it. I went right in, and I told the doctor and the nurse, I left them a sample of more fucking cranberry juice. And this one, Bubinski, it was not busy at all, but they're everywhere, and they're run sometimes, it's like an extension of the hospital almost. So I went in, and I left the sample, and I was like, I've had kidney stones before, and I did have kidney stone pain recently, so I think it's kidney stones and not a UTI. So I was like, I've had kidney stones, it feels like kidney stones, but I've never had it where I've had blood in my urine before. And the doctor was like, oh, well, you know, we could do an x-ray if you want to, and a urinalysis, but it'll cost extra money, and things like that. And I was like, okay, well, it feels like kidney stones. And then he was like, well, let's just treat you for a UTI. I'm going to give you a week of antibiotics, and then it should go away from there. And he was like, are you having any burning when you go pee, which is the sign of a UTI? And I was like, no, I'm not having any burning. I've had lower back pain, like kidney stones. So he's like, okay, well, here's antibiotics. So then I left. I took my antibiotics for a week, and it was like I didn't have pain again, so I was like, whatever, I guess. And then that was in August, and then from that time until last week, I would have pain in my like my like lower tummy, like groin area, where it would feel like I had to pee, but it was also painful. And I kept having the small pains even after I told the guy, like, I'm pretty sure it's kidney stones. So I kept having the pains. I was peeing a lot, like feeling like I had to pee all the time. And then like probably the week before I went to the hospital last week, I'm sure you saw on stream, I was going pee like once or twice an hour at least, which normally I can make it like an hour and a half. A million times. I was peeing a lot, and it was like, it's the urgency to have to pee, and you're constantly having to pee, and I was trying to drink water just in case, but I would have like just that like weird pain, especially I think when I woke up in the morning. And I pee so much, Jelly, like I always feel like I have to pee. And then so Tuesday morning, I was like, you know what, like, I was having pain again, and it was like 2 hours before I normally get up, and I was having the pain in my lower, like, stomach groin area, and it felt similar to when, because the other thing about kidney stones is you can feel where it is pretty much at all times, because it will drag along the like, fucking tubes, right? And so you'll feel it start back here, and then once it passes through that area, you'll feel it come around, and then it goes into the bladder, which you shouldn't feel it in there, and then you feel through the urethra. So I was feeling it in this side area, which is like the ureter. You can tell where it is on its journey, basically, depending on where the pain is. So I was feeling the pain, and I thought that it was like I would pass it soon because I thought it was in the urethra area or like whatever. But Tuesday morning, I was like, you know what? Like, I keep having this pain. Maybe I'll just go to the doctor tomorrow. So I was going to go on Wednesday. And then I was like, what did I say? So at 2:30, I said, frickin' tubes again, man. And this is in the mod room. If I feel shitty, I might go to the doctor tomorrow and maybe move the stream to tomorrow evening or something. And I was like, they just helped me with all this stuff. They hear it all the time. And then in 30 minutes, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to the fucking hospital. Because I Googled it, and it said that urgent care will not treat for kidney stones. They will likely tell you to go to the emergency room. So then I was like, fuck, well, let me just go get this taken care of. Because I figured at the time I was not in pain. I had only had pain here and there. So I thought, I'll just walk into the emergency room, tell them what's going on. They might sit me down and be like, okay, here you go. Because last time what they did was they gave me pain meds, which I don't like. I do not like taking pain meds. And they gave me this the non-generic name of it is Flomax, and it's basically a medication that widens your urethra and makes it easier for the stone to be able to go through it. So I figured I'll just go in there and they'll be like, here's your medication, like, good luck, whatever. So I figured I'll just walk in there, they'll give me the medication, and I can just leave. And Forrest yelled at me for this. I walked to the hospital because there's a hospital that was like, it was like not that big of a deal for me to just walk there, and it was still early in the morning, so it wasn't hot out yet. So I went there, and they took my vitals and everything, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm having kidney stones or something. I've been in here before, the same exact hospital, for the same thing. And they took my... I did not have pain when I walked. I had pain in the morning, and it had been hours since then. So yes, I walked there, but I was not in pain at the time. Before still yelled at me. She was like, why didn't you just Uber there? And I was like, I wasn't in pain. And she's like, I don't care. I guess just in case I had pain and I fucking died on the sidewalk or something. So, I got there and they were like, they took my heart rate and they're like, your heart rate's really high. And I was like, well, I just walked here and it was like, it was a little hot, but not that bad. And they're like, okay. And I think my heart rate was like 120. I think. I don't remember. Because I don't know what's normal, but I think normal is like under 100. And so that was very high. Forrest was like, my heart rate only goes to like 120 when I'm doing a jog. And I was like, oh. But okay, so when they go to take my blood pressure and my pulse, I always get nervous and I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be relaxing, and that makes me anxious. So then I get nervous and then my heart rate is higher. And it happens every fucking time. And so I told them that. And then I went in the room with the other person. And then they were like, let's retake your heart rate because it was high. And I was like, yeah, I just get nervous. I was like, but I feel a little bit better now, so maybe it will be better. So then they took it again, and it was like the exact same fucking thing. And I was like, while they're doing it, I was like, oh my god, like, I'm so sorry. Like, every time I see it, I know that it's going to, like, I should be relaxed, but I can't relax. And I said, I'm just silly. Me to the emergency room, like, nurse. I'm just silly. I'm just silly. I'm just silly. I'm just silly. I fucking cringed at myself. Because I meant, like, I'm silly because I'm worrying over nothing when I shouldn't be. So I said, I'm just silly. And they did a little giggle, but not really. Imagine saying that and not dying. I know, I was trying. So I was like, I'm just silly. And then after that, they had me sit back down in the waiting room. And then they were like, okay. And they called me on back. And I sat in this little, they had like a row of chairs that were like, they could have been massage chairs. Like, they looked like they were massage chairs. And I was one of 3 people in there at the time. And the other people were sat in their chairs. And so I sat in my chair. And then a girl came up and she's like, okay, come with me into this room. Right? And I'm looking at my thing to make sure. So at 2:30 p.m., I said, I'll go to the doctor tomorrow. 30 minutes later, I said, let me just go to the ER. And then at 4:20 p.m., nice, I was put in a room with one of the, like, ER assistants. And she's like, okay, sit down on the bed thing. And it's like the reclined bed. And I sit down on it and I'm like, yeah, like, I was here like however many years ago for the same thing. I took Flomax last time. That really helped, blah, 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 blah. And she's like walking around the room a lot. And I'm like, why is she walking so much? And I go, we're not gonna have to do anything with needles today, right? And then at 4:20 p.m., I got a fucking IV in my arm because she was like, yeah, we're gonna need to get you on an IV. I was like, I'm not even in any fucking pain. I'm not in any pain. And I had this with me. I was drinking water. And have a good day. So I was drinking water. I hate needles. Like, I don't mind getting tattooed, but I hate medical needles. Anti-cringe meds. But she was like, yeah, we're gonna give you an IV. And I was like, bro, are you fucking serious? So at 4:20 p.m., I got an IV in my arm. And I think they did a blood draw because I wouldn't look at it because I was pissed. I know, IV is needle phobia 10, like, times 10, because then it just stays there. So then I just had it. And I got hooked up to the IV, and I'm fucking walking behind the girl. They sit me down. They put it in this bit, which they're like, sorry about that, that's the worst bit. But the ER nurses put them here. They're like, we should have done it down here. It would have been less pain. And I was like, awesome. Here's what I hate about IVs as well, is When it was here, I was like, I'm so afraid to bend my arm. And they're like, oh, don't worry, like, it's got a flexible plastic tube in there right now, like, you can't fuck it up. Which, yes, you're not supposed to bend your arm too much. My arm was like this for, like, the entire time, because I was too afraid to fucking bend it, because I fucking hate it. And the needle isn't in your arm the whole time, but that little plastic tube was in there, which fucking grosses me out, first of all. I don't even want to think about it. So they sat me down in the chair, and I'm just waiting there with my IV, and also on top of that, they're giving me fluids, and I'm like having to piss so much. So I'd be like, hey, can you disconnect me from the IV so I can go piss? Because I didn't want to push it around with me, because I didn't think I needed it in the first place. So they would come over and disconnect me, and then I would go piss, and then I would sit down, and then I would almost immediately have to piss again, and then I would wait until I was fucking pissing myself. And so I was like, you know, whatever. Let me see what the next bit of this is. And then around an hour and 20 minutes later, they took me to go do the CAT scan. And they disconnected me from the IV, and I just was walking around with the IV in my arm still, but without my fucking thing. And on the way to the CAT scan, I was like, "Can I go pee real quick?" So I went pee. I hate them, Elliot. I hate IVs. Not enough CAT scanned me. It was only one. But so the person that was taking me to the CAT scan room, they let me go to the toilet like right before. And I think I said something like, I said, oh, if you don't mind, is it okay if I think I said use the restroom? But I might have said bathroom. I don't think I said toilet. Because then when I got into the CAT scan room, the lady that brought me there was talking to one of the CAT scan people, and they were like, the lady was like, she was like, oh, where are you from? And I was like, I was thinking, what does this have to do with getting a CAT scan? And I was like, oh, I'm from here, like I was born here and everything. And she's like, what? She's like, I told all of them that you're from England. And I was like, why? And she's like, well, you have like a British accent. And I was like, oh, I guess so. I go back and forth a lot. And she was like, yeah, you know, the way that you said bathroom or restrooms or something, she was like, it sounded so British. And I was like, oh. It's like, nope, I'm not. I just go there a lot. But every time I get in an Uber, I fucking go anywhere, they're like, where are you from? And I'm like, bitch, I was born down the street. Like, what are you asking me? So they did the CAT scan, and they did a full CAT scan, which they were like, I didn't say Lou or anything. I think there's this thing where it's like an autism accent where you almost have like a neutral accent, but you'll pick up accents from the media you consume, which I noticed from when I watched Love on the Spectrum in New Zealand. And there's a guy on there who was born in New Zealand, but he has an American accent because he's consumed so much American media. So his family completely has like these like New Zealand accents, but he has like an American one. And I feel like, yeah, there's like a thing with like neurodivergent people and picking up accents and things like that. My gosh, your speaking is so difficult. I also enunciate a lot, and I pronounce like every letter of the word. Instead of saying like letter, I say letter, which British would be letter, I guess. But so yeah, my gosh. Ugh. I'm just a TV show at this point. I really am. So, yeah, they were like, where are you from? Then they did the CAT scan. They were like, do you have any metal in you? Here's the other thing. Like, when I'm asked a question by anyone, especially medical professionals, this is the fucking spicy brain shit. I answer it so literally. They're like, do you have any metal? Ooh, that sounded any metal anywhere. I was like, oh, well, I have my nose rings. And then I have like a little metal, now I'm fucking it up. I have a little metal chip in my boob from when they did a biopsy. So I was like, I also have a metal chip in my boob, that's not what they're really asking, you know what I mean? Because they're putting me through the tube thing. And they're like, oh, that's fine. Actually, I have iron. Yeah. Well, they were asking, but it would be more like if you have like bigger metal things, right? Because the CAT scan thing, isn't it like magnetic and it can pull stuff out? I don't know. I've seen it in the fucking Grey's Anatomy or something. So I was like, no, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So then I had to put it was like going in the airport, I had to put my arms in there, lay on the thing, and I had to go in and out, I had to hold my breath, blah, 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 blah. MRIs, big magnets, I see, magnetic resonance imaging. I don't know what they did to me. They put me through the thing, and, oh yeah, I have an IUD too, but I think that one's plastic. I went through the CAT scan, and then they were like, yeah, you have a stone, and it was stuck between my kidney and my bladder. There's your ureter. And they're like, it's stuck in there. So at 6:20 p.m., 40 minutes later, they were like, in 6 to 8 hours, they were like, bad news, you're probably gonna be staying here overnight. And I was like, what the fuck? I literally have not had any pain since this morning. Like, I was like, why? And they're like, well, we wanna do surgery. And I was like, what the fuck? So they're like, we're gonna do surgery, but in order for you to have surgery, you can't have eaten in the last like 6 to 8 hours or whatever. So it was not hurting, and they told me why after, basically. So they were like, you're gonna have surgery. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, it went from 2:30 p.m. I said, I'll go to the doctor tomorrow, to 3 p.m. Let me just go to the emergency room, to 3.5 hours later, you're going to have surgery today. And I was like, what the fuck? Because first of all, I've never had a surgery before besides wisdom teeth, which does not really count. So they were like, so we're gonna put you in a room, we're gonna get you a bed for the night, and then they were like, we'll probably do the surgery tonight, or maybe we'll do it in the morning. And I was like, are you fucking serious? So I was like, okay, well, I don't have a choice. So they took me up to the hospital room, and in my room, they put me in my little bed, I put my little hospital gown on, and I was like, do I keep my underwear on? So I did. I kept my underwear on because I was like, my dignity. I didn't have a phone charger. I didn't have anything to... I was like, oh, I'll just pop in and out. Didn't have a phone charger. Didn't have my contacts case to take my contacts out when I went to sleep at night. Had absolutely nothing with me. My PC was still on at my house. The lights were on in here because I was like, I'll be right back. And so I was texting Forrest, letting her know what was going on, and she was like, okay, after I get out of work, I can go get stuff from your house and, like, make sure everything's all right and then bring it to you. And I was like, okay. My mom was freaking out, and my mom was like, she's like, do you need us to come down there? And I was like, I'll be fine. Because I feel very independent, but I also was like, I'm kind of terrified, and I'm scared. But there was not really anything I could do. So I just was like typing in my mod chat like, hello everyone, I'm freaking out. My mom, I was like, do I want my mom here or will she make me freak out more? Because I've always been so very independent, and like, pretty much any major thing that I've gone through, I've had to go through like by myself, kind of. And like, so I thought, if my mom is here, will that make me more anxious? And I thought it might. And not because I'm like, I don't like her or anything, but just because my mom would be anxious, and I was like, you know what? I don't want you to be freaking out, so I'm fine. Don't worry about it. So my mom was like, okay. And my mom she's got her little thing. Oh my god. She told me, she was like, and Mom, if you're watching, I love you. If this is a YouTube video later and you make it all the way through to this point, if this is an entire saga, I love you, but you're so funny of when you talk about organ donation, because that's not how it works. My mom said before your surgery, do not tell them you're an organ donor, because my mom is convinced that if you say that you're an organ donor, that they will not try to save you if you die. And that's not the case. She was so vehemently against me signing up to be an organ donor. She was like, do not sign up for that. They won't save you. And I was like, why would they let one pretty perfectly healthy person die in order to save whoever else with their organs? Bless her. I was like, no, it's fine. So I have signed up for organ donation when I renewed my license the last time, because I was like, you know what? You never know. I know, oh my gosh. Thought you were gonna say they'll take your organs without you knowing. No. She's like, they won't try as hard to save you if you start declining while you're under. And I was like, no. And then I said that to the mods or to Fav or something, and they're like, first of all, who would want your kidneys? They have fucking rocks in them. I know. Fav says, what would they take? Not your kidneys or your 120 BPM heart. And I think I also was texting Pedguin about it. And I was like, bro, imagine someone gets my organs and then they're just suddenly acoustic after, which is like on TikTok now, if someone is doing something weird, the comments will be, are they acoustic? So I'm like, imagine someone gets my fucking stuff and they're like, why do I suddenly want to collect things? I think the acoustic thing is kind of funny, but there's a time and place for it. I think as an acoustic person, I think that part is funny. I know that's not for everybody, but for me, time and place, I suppose. And reclaiming it, I'll reclaim it and say acoustic. But I was like, imagine. I thought you were gonna say, why would they kill a pretty person? I was loving the confidence. No. But yeah, I was like, they'll get my fucking, like, I don't know what they can't take my brain out. They can't take that. But just imagine they get my eyes and they're like, who would take my eyes? I can't even see. You can't even take. What in me is good to take? My heart has a high heart rate. My blood's probably all right. The ass, they don't want to weigh anybody down with that. There's not much in there. There's not much for taking. My teeth, I do have nice teeth. They can't do that. Right? Teeth transplants are not, imagine, oh my god. That would be horrible. Not anymore. They used to. That is horrible. That you would have someone. I'm like really weird. Like, if I'm kissing somebody, I'm like, I hope they've brushed their teeth recently, because I'm very weird about oral hygiene. There's no way that if I lost my teeth, I would allow them to replace them with someone else's teeth. I don't know what the fuck they've been doing with those. That's so horrible. As a British, I think teeth donuts should be a thing. Oh my goodness.